All right, morning everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Daily High. I will be your only host, Tone Vase today. Matt is probably out in Tokyo. So, without any further ado, we're gonna jump right into the charts. All right, here's our monthly chart. Now that we've days uh, of going into the month, we can kind of see how things are progressing and the month is starting off bullish, which is good. We did have a really rough August. September is generally not a very bullish month for the stock market. And we'll see how it reacts with Bitcoin. They have been, moving in slightly opposite directions. Here's the weekly chart. The week started off pretty strong. It is fizzling down. I say look, we need to close very strong. And by strong, I mean we really need to close above 12,000, 112,000. If we can close above 112,000, that's a close end to the week, and it should reset our daily charts as well. At the moment, I am completely neutral on Bitcoin with a very slight bearish bias. The bearish bias comes from the red star candle. I'm not saying it's looking like it's gonna go into an MRI buy situation near 98 at the moment. But if the current candle ends up being a red candle, then pretty much um, shit's bad. October is generally a bullish month, but we'll see. In a perfect world, we close this candle even above 113, and then we can start setting up for some nice upside into end of year. So the daily chart is where it's all fallen apart. We are sitting at support right now. It was looking very good late last night when we were hanging around that 112 area, ready to challenge the 50 period moving average. But at the moment, it is very clear that we got rejected by the 50 period moving average. These arrows are pretty much in line, only instead of going up to the 50 period at the end of August, we went up to 50 period in the beginning of September. That's the only difference, really. And this rise came off of. I'm not going to leave these arrows because it'll look like, I was able to predict it perfectly, even though I did talk about it. Look, we had an MRI buy situation, and I was bullish on the MRI buy. But as it stands right now, this is just a 1 to 4 candle correction to the upside, what we refer to as a dead cat bounce. And this dead cat bounce is being rejected at the 50 period moving average, and we're back at the 128-day moving average. So if the 128-day moving average is lost and we end up with a daily red star candle by end of this week, then I don't see how Bitcoin can possibly avoid a move to the 200-day moving average. I mean, it is what it is. And in the move to 128-day moving average, it's going to basically start its move towards a weekly MRI buy. Now, the last time we had a weekly MRI buy, we reversed and went into a new all-time high. So if we can get another weekly MRI buy at I believe that should be the 50 period moving average. So if we get another weekly MRI buy at the 50 period moving average, we should do very well bouncing right off of that. But do you really want to take the risk of breaking below the 50 period moving average? Because if we do, you know what's lurking all the way down in the $50,000 area. At least we have the MRI support line in addition to the 200-week moving average. So that's something we want to avoid. And the best way to avoid, a scare going all the way down to the 200-week moving average is to avoid having to bounce off of the 50 in the first place. If we can bounce off of the 20, that would be nice, and we're sitting right at the 20 now. Okay? So yeah, the daily is not looking good. Let's see. We're at the 10 a.m. reversal right now, but it looks like we're blowing right through that, so it's not doing much. That's a very nasty 1 hour candle. You guys know I prefer the 1 hour candles to the 4 hour candles. Our 1 hour tops on the MRI. It starts to reverse off of the MRI buy situation, but now we have a red star candle on the hourly chart. Unless we get this 10 a.m. reversal right now as I'm speaking. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Uh, we Here is that 10 a.m. candle. It was a drop candle. Probably S&P 500 is doing something similar. Let's look at the 5-minute S&P. Right, so the 5-minute S&P took a nosedive at 10 a.m. as well. It was basically there was no trend at market open, so the 10 a.m. reversal trade doesn't work when there is no trend at market open. Market opens right here and it stays flat into 10 a.m. I believe there was some economic news. Let me go and take a look at that. We had the jobs. Should have been the like something. I mean, we're gonna have this Friday. There should be like a weekly report here. So we have the unemployment numbers coming out on Friday. That's going to be really, really big. The ADP employment change, um, yeah, that's not a good number. Uh, Not a good number. And the big one is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, the unemployment numbers. And if the unemployment numbers come in bad, I think the Fed is going to have to step up and lower the interest rate. I mean, I don't want them to, but they will have to. So Fed funds. Oh no, I have it up. I have it here. Let's see what the street thinks about the Fed lowering the interest rate. There is a 97% chance that the Fed is going to lower the interest rate. Now, keep in mind of what this means. This means that if the Fed doesn't lower the interest rate, the stock market will crash, and so will Bitcoin. So we have already priced in uh, the fact that the Fed is going to lower the rate. So if the rate is lowered, the stock market may fall or it may rise along with Bitcoin based on what the Fed says. If the Fed does something crazy like lower it 50 basis points, the market's going to rally like crazy. But if the Fed also does something crazy and unexpected, as in they don't lower the interest rate, expect a massive stock market crash. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and that's coming September 17th. So we're what, less about 10 days away, almost 10 days away from that event. Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin ETFs have been buying. They've been buying some Bitcoin. Well, mostly BlackRock. Well, BlackRock's up to 750. Look at that. Damn. BlackRock's just crushing it. Crushing it. Here are our numbers for the month. We're making up for the August month, but if today's a down day, all of this will be erased, of course. All right. This is the 10 a.m. reversal, right? We're coming up on 10:15. So either we reverse this minute or we're going to be going down for quite a while the rest of the day. It's the make or break point for Bitcoin and stocks. I mean, they're stocks reverse at 2 p.m. as well sometimes. So we got a chance. We got a chance right here with this candle. I would consider going long. right now, and the stop loss would be down below this candle's low, and this candle only has 5 seconds left, so the current candle's low is going to stay. And that would be my bullish trade for the day. It's a very, very low risk trade. Yeah, this trade would only be a 2-point stop loss. Very, very low risk. Give it a chance for the 10 a.m. reversal a little bit later than I like. And one more tick down, and the trade's over. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think that the 10 a.m. reversal failed, and it's not looking good for the rest of the day, guys. Still a small chance this candle is going to reverse it, but we're already past the 10 a.m. reversal window at this point. We did close the gap, which is good, off the open. That does give it some possibility to higher at this point, but I wouldn't bet on it at this point. Yeah, the inflation in the U.S. is we're definitely feeling the inflation of the tariffs. I don't know what the hell Trump's smoking when he says that there's no inflation. There's massive inflation. As you guys know, I believe Ethereum is topped with the MRI, and your old season, I think, is done. Gold and silver are looking very bullish. All right, I don't really have anything else to say. This is it for me. Nice short show. Let me glance at your live chat. What's PM? Philip Morris. Okay. Tobacco? Looks bad. Looks very bearish. Huh. I've shared my dino ribs recipe. I got to do it again. I got to type it out next time. Max Payne on iBit? It's probably in line. Yeah, we're in line. Max Payne is 63.50 current price. 62.46. Well, it can rise a little bit. Can rise a smidge. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. I can't comment on next year because we still have half a year, right? Like, we got to finish the year. Ask me about next year in mid-December. It's impossible to talk about next year. I mean, we could be entering next year with a Bitcoin price of 96, or we could be entering next year with a Bitcoin price of 142. There's a big difference on what's going to happen next year in these scenarios. So it's impossible to talk about next year yet. I'm expecting a nice bullish Q4, but if that doesn't happen, then that definitely alters what happens next year. If we get a very bullish Q4, next year is going to be a top. If we have a very bearish Q4, maybe next year is going to be a nice bullish year for the whole year that breaks the 4-year cycle. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching, and see you all on the next one.